Hi, folks. We're now experimenting with our new format. What I think we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing 2 half-hour shows a week, and then followed by a shorter 10-15 minute show at the end of the week, recapping what we did earlier in the week and what we're going to be doing the following week. I'm doing that just because, I'm an older guy, and sometimes I misunderstand just how little time the younger people have, and I want to make sure that we get to that audience. So with that, we're going to recap last week. We're going to look at what we're going to be doing the next following 2 weeks and set a great big expectation for where we're going to be taking this ship for the rest of this year and probably early into the first quarter of next year. So I'm only going to use 2 slides, one from last week and one for next week. So let's bring that first slide up. And I'm not going to go into detail in this, but this is what we did this week, 2 parts. It was a half an hour each for 2 days, and it was about what was happening with the Note Kings. It was a color revolution. What you need to understand is look at these, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to read 1 or 2 and leave it up to you to either read them or take a screenshot. But you see closed borders. Everything you see there, think the opposite. What they wanted was open borders, election integrity. What they wanted was rampant election fraud. So everything there was a color revolution, and you need to understand who the participants were in that. So here's what it was. You've got massive numbers of people who were paid, who were paid by Soros, who were paid by the UN, who were paid by the CIA, by the US government, those within our government that want to bring us down. So pay protesters. That's one huge component. So this is not the voice of the American people that you saw with this Note Kings protest. The second group is many of the millions, the 10 to 20 millions of illegal immigrants who came in here who don't want to get kicked out. So they're more than happy to come and protest and to carry the American flag out upside down and to carry the flags of the nations of their origin there. And then the third group is we're now coming against DEI and all the stuff that was being done by the global financial elite to collapse America from within. Stalin said, if you can collapse America by getting rid of its patriotism, its Christian and family values, it will weaken from the end and will be vulnerable to attack from without. And so what they're trying to do is they brought in a Trojan horse in the form of millions of illegal immigrants, and certainly thousands of them are probably terrorist cells that are here to commit all kinds of false flag events in the United States of America. That's the other group that's there. And then maybe the biggest group of all is well-intentioned Americans who have been brought up through the school systems and who have been taught that capitalism is bad, communism is good, America is evil, and basically they're out there and they're protesting out of the goodness of their heart, but they don't understand that they've been brainwashed. And so what we're trying to do is open people's eyes to the truth. And that's what we're really going to be pushing all the rest of this year and probably well into the first quarter of next year is the truth. So look at these things, read them, study them, and just think the opposite. So Indian LGBT movement, that's exactly what we have to do. It's not about supporting any of that or supporting DEI or supporting girls in sports. No, it's about we have to get back control. All those things that you see are control mechanisms, and any nation who doesn't have control of those literally has no nation to be sovereign over. Let's go to the second and last slide of tonight. And here's what we're going to be doing for the next 2 weeks. 2 half-hour shows, followed by 2 more half-hour shows. And this is what I call a vignette. This is going to be to get you ready to have a fair degree of knowledge so that as these news stories come down, they can't flim-flam you, they can't bamboozle you, they can't lie to you and confuse you and brainwash you, because you're going to see the big picture. And the big picture is going to give you the knowledge that you need so that we can set the captives free. So we're going to be talking about sovereign currency. What is it? And how did we lose it? And how do we get it back? Sovereign borders. Any nation that doesn't have a sovereign border has no nation to be sovereign over. Basically, we've lost our sovereignty. And honest elections. How can you have a nation if you don't have honest elections? And how can you run a government if you don't have resources, because basically money starts with God's natural resources that are converted into manufactured goods that are sold, that then becomes the money that controls a nation, either for good or for bad. And you need to look at what's happening around the world, and we'll get into that. Manufacturing prowess. We were the manufacturing leader of the world until in Carter's administration, they started taking that away from us and ceding power to China. And then what else did they do at the same time? The very next administration that came in, which was Clinton, they put us under an intentionally losing trade program so that we would lose money on every trade deal we did. And Trump is reversing every one of these things. And then global financial parity. Why is that important? Because basically the military analysts will tell you that you cannot have peace if you don't have financial parity. It was Eisenhower, our general come president, who said, is there any man, is there any woman, is there any child that doesn't understand the principal cause of war is economic disparity between nations? And so what's Trump doing? He's going around the world, and you have to have peace. If you're going to have stable global economy, you have to have peace. And to do that, you have to have shared values. So when the original immigrants came in here, we were all trying to escape the financial slavery that we had in Europe under feudalism, and basically be able to have the American dream, to have a home, to have a gun, to have self-reliance and self-dependency, not to be dependent on the government. The people who are coming in now, these people didn't want handouts back when this nation was founded. They just wanted a right to work. They wanted to own a piece of land, and they wanted to have that to be responsible for themselves. The people who are coming in now, they have no education. A lot of them had bad health issues. A lot of them don't speak English, and they can't survive here if they don't have entitlements coming from us. So we're going to unravel all of this. And so what I want you to do is understand that unless you see the story of the day from the lens of all of those things in those two slides, you are subject to being brainwashed. You are subject to being lied to. You're subject to being used as a pawn. So what I think God has told me, he says all the time, I've been doing this. I've called you early so that you would have time to study, so that you would understand, and you'd be ready in season and out of season. So as these stories break, and the newscasters are just telling you about the news of the day, no, I'm going to go back instantaneously. No research, all recall, right out of here. God put it in here, and it's there ready to be used anytime I need it. And let me just give you a couple of little examples of what I'm talking about. If we look at what happened in Venezuela, it's way, way bigger than drugs. That's part of it, but that's not all of it. It's also about controlling natural resources, and it's about creating that economic parity in the Western Hemisphere so that we can stabilize the Western Hemisphere. Because guess what? There's a geopolitical alignment happening where power is shifting from the West to the East, and power is shifting from the North to the South. And if we don't understand that, and if Donald Trump's policies don't accommodate for us moving those chess pieces around so that we can come out of that shift in geopolitical power, we're in trouble. So I'm going to basically show you that. I did a show on it a long time ago, months ago. God always shows me everything way in advance. And so this is your guidebook, if you will, or if you go into a restaurant, this is your menu, so that if you tap into the things that were just on those two slides, you're going to be able to understand why elections are important, why closed borders are important, why what they're telling you often is just the tip of the iceberg. The story is much, much deeper. So please come back. This is the time God promised me. He told me all my life, you will not go out until your hair is salt and pepper, and it is, and until we were on the brink of absolute collapse, which we are. And at that time, I, God, will step in, and I will move within the earth, and I'll bring about the reset that I intend, not the reset that the global financial elite intends. And he will set the captives free. But what he also told me is it's going to take waking up the people who've been lied to. And that's where he's going to use me. I have all that knowledge, and I can go in and tap into it in a moment. And I can unravel the lies for you, so you see the big picture. So you put the puzzle pieces together, you can see the lies, you can see everything from a 60,000 square foot view. So we can what? So we can regain our patriotism, our Christian and family values, and we can stand as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What they've done for the last 50 years is use every mechanism possible to divide us, because they know a nation divided cannot stand. Folks, I'm going to give you the keys to reuniting America. I'm going to give you the keys to giving America financial prosperity again. I'm going to give you the keys to giving you and your family and your husband and your wife and your kids and your grandkids freedom. And I'm going to give you the keys to getting back the American dream. Follow me, please. Follow me, please. Click on the link on the buttons below and basically follow this program and share it with everybody you can. Now is the time when things are going to be changing so fast, and you need a compass. And that's what I'm going to be providing you, is a compass so that you can follow these stories without falling to the lies that they're in there. You cannot understand what's going on when all you do is follow a news story for a day or two and then jump to the next one. All of these stories go back decades, and they all have implications that are going to go forward for a century or more. You need to be informed. God told me the truth will set the people free. When the time comes, he will see to it that their eyes are open. And so me and others that he's chosen are here to give you the information you need so that you can be a part of seeing to it that we get our freedom back. So please subscribe, and please like, and please share with everybody you can. And please come back every week. We're going to be doing, like I said, 2.5-hour shows. They're in the early part of the week, probably Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday, and a follow-up on Friday. So we'll see you next week, and we're going to dig deep into what was in that second slide, and that'll be a 2-week show. We'll see you next time. Please come back. You're going to get your eyes opened. I guarantee it.